Right, okay then. So it's now just coming up to 7:30. So I'd like to welcome you all to this virtual meeting of Hounslow's licensing panel. I would like to welcome the members of the panel who are sitting this evening, as well as council officers who will be assisting members throughout the meeting. In addition, I would like to welcome members of the public who may be watching this meeting at home. As you all may know, councils were required by law to revert to physical meetings from the 7th of May, but following specific government announcement regarding the current situation in Hounslow, it was decided that the licensing panel meeting hearings would be held virtually until further notice. The way this meeting will work will be that as chair, I will be running the meeting and inviting people to speak. As it is very easy for people to speak over each other in a meeting like this, I will ask each member or officer to speak in turn at the appropriate stage. This will mean that there should normally be no need for people to interrupt or to ask to speak. However, I shall make sure that all members have ample opportunity to ask questions and make comments on the reports and applications before them. Hang on, I didn't realise my phone is switched on. I'm going to switch that off. I'd ask members if you've got your phone with you to do the same. We're not going to get interrupted by phone calls. My apologies for that. The exception to this arrangement will be the legal committee or licensing officers who may turn on their microphone to alert me to any legal governance or planning issues that needs addressing. Sorry, that planning issue should be licensing issue. Although I would expect this to be a rare occurrence. In addition, we have a producer of the meeting from our ICT department who may also need to contact me if necessary. But I think it's unlikely if all goes well, as we all hope it will. The etiquette for members of the panel and for officers who are expecting to speak will be to mute your microphones until you are asked to speak. This means that only one person will be speaking at a time and there will be no background noise, making it easier for us all to follow the meeting and also for those watching from home. I will also ask members always to say who they are when they make a contribution and to speak slowly and clearly for the same reason. We have 3 members of the licensing panel committee with us this evening to form this panel, and it is we who will be making the decisions. Officers of the council will provide assistance and advice as required, but the final decisions will be made by members. I would now like to introduce each of the members here tonight one by one, and I will start. I'm Cllr Richard Foote. I'm chair of the licensing committee and I'm an elected member for the Hamworth ward. So if I now go on to Medea, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, thank you, Chair. My name is Councillor Medea Sim and I am the ward councillor for the Hounslow Heath ward.
Thank you, Medea. And Unsa?
Hello, my name is Unsa. I am a councillor for Austin Spring Grove ward.
Thank you. Right, if you can mute your microphones again. I see Medea's done hers and you've done yours, so thanks. I'm now going to ask Nicola Harbour to introduce herself as the officer.
Hello there, my name is Nicola Harbour and I'm the Licensing Authority Officer.
Okay, and Kenny Talley, our legal advisor, if you could introduce yourself.
Good evening, I'm Kenny Sally. I will be advising the panel today. I'm the lawyer for Hounslow Council.
Right, thanks, Kenny. We also have officers acting in a producing role for the technical side of the meeting, but as they're not expected to be involved in the discussion of the meeting, I will thank them for the help, but I will not ask them to introduce themselves. Members of the public are reminded that the agenda and all the reports being considered by the panel this evening can be found on the council website under the licensing panel meetings page. So if you want to see them, that is where you look. I would also want to make sure that all members have seen the agenda and the reports. Please speak now if you've not had them. I think we've cleared up, yeah, you both had your reports. I would like to remind members of the need to hear all of the evidence in each report we're considering tonight. And we're only having one, so it's just that's the one. This means you should listen to the whole debate. This is a legal requirement. If you should find you're having technical problems and need to log out of the meeting and come back in again, please let me know immediately, ideally beforehand, but if not afterwards by turning on your microphone. This will be a permitted interruption. We can then decide how far we need to recap if that's necessary. Finally, I would say to any member of the public listening or watching, thank you for joining us this evening. We hope this meeting will go well, but any virtual meetings may suffer from an unexpected technical hitch, so please bear with us. I should clarify that this meeting is being recorded and will be made available on the Council's YouTube channel in the next few days. Contributors to the meeting are asked to remember that they therefore will be included in the recording of this public meeting. Thank you. We now move on to the first item on the agenda, or the item on the agenda. We're now on to move on to the licensing application for decision at this meeting. This evening's application is an application for a temporary street trading licence to permit ice cream to be sold from a location in Chiswick Riverside Ward. Where we need to time contributions, I will ask the legal officer to alert me when allocated timings have been reached. I will also ask her to alert me prior to the guillotine being reached if we have not concluded the meeting by that time. May I remind all members, officers and public speakers at this meeting to introduce themselves each time they speak and also to turn off their microphones when they finish speaking. It's also important to speak slowly and clearly so that everyone can understand what you're saying. Finally, if you are making reference to any agenda documentation, please give the page and paragraph details. The process for the application with speakers is as follows. The officers to give their presentation on the application. The applicant will then be asked if they agree with the circumstances as described in the officer's report. We don't have any police, licensing authority or other bodies present. So the next stage will be to ask the applicant to present his case for a total of 5 minutes in total, and then answer questions from all other parties. Once the applicant's finished, then it's up to other persons, and at the moment we haven't seen any, I don't think. So it doesn't look like we will have any of the objectors. But if they do turn up, then this is the point where they'll be included. Finally, I will then invite all parties to sum up their position, with the applicant being entitled to the last word, where their summing up being the last to take place. On that summing up, if you stick to what is already known facts, please don't introduce any new material in the summing up. The panel will then leave the meeting to discuss the case and reach its decision. It will be joined by no one else except the legal officer, who is there to give advice on the law, but will not be a party to the decision. Once we've done that, we will return to the meeting to read out our decision on the application, and that will conclude consideration of the item. We will now begin the formal hearing of this case, and I will start by inviting the licensing officer to introduce the report. Nicola?
Thank you, Chair. Members are requested to determine this application for the grant of a temporary street trading licence in respect of an ice cream vendor, non-solo gelato, to be positioned on the public highway located on the footpath junction of Thames Road and Brooks Lane, Chiswick. The purpose of the application is to authorise the applicant to place a tricycle on the public highway to sell ice cream in the area as highlighted in paragraph 3 of this report. The applicant wishes to sell on the days and times as follows: Monday to Friday, 1500 hours to 1700 hours. The measurements of the area to be licensed would be 2.0 metres in depth by 3 metres in width. The application form, plans and photos of the proposed site and tricycle have been attached as Appendix A. We have received 2 representations from other persons, both concerned with the lack of social distancing due to the queues of children and their parents, as the site is very close to Strand-on-the-Green School. They feel that as the location of the tricycle is close to a zebra crossing, it may lead to small children running into the road whilst their parents are queuing. The representations in full have been attached as Appendix B. Copies of both this report and representations have been sent to the applicant. Thank you, Chair.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Nicola. Right. Mr. Tommaso, could I ask you, you've heard the officer's report. If you could, do you agree the circumstances as described by the officer? And just clarify this, it's not yet the time for you to put your case, but if you could just clarify the circumstances as outlined by the officer.
Thank you, Chairman. As you know, my name is Michele De Tommaso, yeah, and I'm self-employed. I wish. Yeah,
I just asked you if you could confirm what the officer has said.
Yes.
As being correct. We come to you in a short while for you to make your case.
I was just introducing myself. Yes, yeah. I confirm.
Okay, I'll come to you then. So we got no one from the police or other authorities. And there'll be no questions of them. Right, so now, Mr. Di Tomasa, it's your turn to put your case. So you've got 5 minutes to do that.
Thank you. I have attached some pictures and also a plan to demonstrate how far I am from the zebra crossing and how far I am from the school building. Between myself and the school door, there are more than 28 meters that shows on the plan. I counted the meters from the corner of the house on Thames Road down to the bins. Between the door of the school and the bins, there are at least another 10 meters. So the distance in reality from the school door to where I am, it's more than what it says on the plan. We should be adding another 10 meters. I understand the school points, even though I would like to point out that what they are trying to achieve is not exactly what it is in reality on the day. They are concerned that I'm there every day, but it's not true, because as you can see today, yesterday, Friday, Thursday, it rained, so I was not there doing my sales. I am self-employed by choice. I was a restaurant manager in the City of London. I chose to sell gelato, Italian gelato, simply because my children used to go to Strand-on-the-Green for nearly 15 years. So I do know the head teacher of the junior, the head teacher of the infant, and the nursery as well. I know that they like to, they are great teachers. It's a great school. So I'm not new to them, not as a parent and not as an ice cream vendor, because I live in the community. I live just 2 miles away from the school, and children and parents see me cycling around the area as a street vendor. When I pitch at the school, I can only stay there 15, 20 minutes I tend to finish the queue that is there and then I move away. To make it safe for the children, because they are coming out of school in bubbles, I would like to stay a bit longer to please everyone, because it's a joy. It's a joy of the day for them to find the bicycle and the artisan gelato outside the school. Despite what the head teachers are saying, it's a moment that they really look forward to, leaving the school and finding the ice cream outside. There are other things that I would like to say, but I'll wait for your questions, because I would love to touch to the 3 points that the school have presented to the board.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to Medea now. I'll ask, have you any questions of Mr. Di Tomasa?
No, so far I think he's covering his points
Okay.
as well as he can.
Well, if one comes out whilst we're asking the question, I'll come back to you and ask you at the end whether you've got anything to add or to ask.
Certainly, thank
So,
you.
do you have any questions?
Yes. How long have you been at this location?
I start trading as a street vendor with a peddler license in 2014, the 1st of May 2014, and my very first school summer fair was at Strand on the Green a few days later.
Okay. The reason I'm asking is because in the report there were some comments about some complaints from parents. Are you familiar with any of these complaints?
Regarding the quality of the gelato or the safety?
It didn't specify, so I wasn't quite sure. And I don't think the head teachers are here today to ask them.
I think the school is presenting the case together with something else. There used to be on the opposite side of Brook Lane a ice cream van, which unfortunately had its engine running with diesel. I have not seen that gentleman back last year because the school has pressurized the ice cream van, the soft Mr. Whippy, so much that probably he decided not to come back. In my case, I don't have an engine. I pedal the bicycle. I don't litter because I'm quite proud of my business. I've never seen, and please try to understand what I'm trying to say. I've never seen a child running past the bicycle to the zebra crossing. There are more than 6 meters in between myself and the zebra crossing. When the children do run, they run to stop at the bicycle. From 2014 down to the last time that I was there, it was Thursday, I believe. I have never seen a car stop suddenly because there was a child near the zebra crossing. It's a 20 miles road speed limit, and children are always with their parents. Don't run ahead of them. If they do, as sometimes does happen, they do run ahead, but just a few meters, and they stop the bike. They don't go further down to reach the end of the curb of the pavement. And it's a road, Brook Lane, as you can see from the picture. At 3 o'clock, there is it's closed. There is no traffic behind me or in front of me. The only ongoing traffic is Thames Road, which is a 20 miles speed limit. It's closed on one side, and it's one-way street anyway, and it's closed with a gate just 4 or 5 meters from where I am. So I'm on the inside of a closed gated road.
Any other questions, Unsa?
I suppose about the location. So the question has been put if you would consider an alternative location. Is that something you would consider?
I would love to consider a different location if I have to pay for a pitch, but as a peddler, I don't think there would be an issue for me cycling a closed road to traffic. I'm not directly outside of the school door, as they are saying on the report. I am 38 meters away from their door. There is another location, but unfortunately, the shape of the area, the shape of the door would mean that some children would go left, others would go right, others go the other side of Brook Lane over the footbridge to go to on the other side of the railway. That would mean that my customers would have to look for me where I am instead of finding me in the near vicinity of Brook Lane.
Right, is that all? Unsa, have you any other questions?
No, yep, that's all from me at this stage.
Okay, I'll come back to you before we finish anyway, just in case anything comes up. Right, couple of things. Can I just confirm the school that we're talking about, that Strand on the Green, this is that school there, is it? I'm not familiar with this particular part of the borough. I live in the other end of the borough. So Strand on the Green is the school that's showing on the map, is it? I see you nodding.
If I may add, the same building as a nursery on the corner, a junior, and the infant. So that's the old building that encaptures the 3 levels.
No, it's just I'm trying to, because mention has been made of Strand on the Green, and I was just thinking if that's the school we're talking about that's shown in the map.
Yes.
Okay, right. And can I just ask again, on your map, it's got bike bay. Is that where your bike is positioned? It's got where there's a bin and it says bike bay.
No, sir. Those are bars to lock bikes.
Okay, so whereabouts is your okay. I keep wanting to say calling it bicycle. It's not a bicycle. Your ice cream.
Yes.
Whereabouts is that parked?
If I may guide you, you know the name Brook Lane?
Yeah, I can see that.
There is a word, curb, with that next.
Oh, right, yes.
So that's where I'm asking to be pitched.
Okay, so
that's where I usually stand.
So you're some 5 meters, oh no, a bit more than that. Is it 7.5 meters to the level crossing?
I am 5.20 to the end of the building on the opposite side, and then there are another 2.40 meters to the end of the curb. So okay. In total, we are talking about 8 meters.
Okay. All right. So that's got that bit done. Now I just need to pick up on the question, some of the questions made by the in the school people. So I mean, you're quite some. You said you were some 30 odd meters away from the school gates, didn't you? So I mean, is there children around the gates who are waiting to get ice cream, or are they?
If we go back to the map, I think that's easier to understand. You see where you said about the bike bay?
Yeah.
Now there is a bin. Now from the bin to the school door, I think there are another 12 or 10 meters.
Okay.
So I've counted 28 meters from the corner of the house to the bin. So plus another 12 meters to the school door, that would make 45 meters. After the suggestion, after the complaint of the school, because Miss Vanessa Townsend, she approached me once saying, I don't think you should be here, you should be elsewhere, because your queue is clashing with my queue. The two queues actually never touch each other, because I don't usually have a queue. Because at that time, her exit was only that door on Brook Lane. After she approached me a week later, she opened up the gate that is on the other side of the building to let all the children out from a different gate. So the school has 3 gates, one down to Brook Road, right at the end for the juniors, in the middle of Brook Lane for the infant, and then at the back of the building there is a large gate where there is a corner shop and a post office. There is another exit. Now they are using 3 exits in effect, and the her queue, the nearest door to me, which is nearly 45-50 meters away, it's very short, and the 2 queues don't touch each other. There is a large gap. There is already 2 meters gap between parents and children queuing up to the bike. If I was to stay a bit longer, that queue wouldn't exist, because I would have more time to serve them. Now, because I only got 15-20 minutes to the end of the queue, sometimes it is a bit lengthy. But I'm trying to do my best to separate her short queue to the school to my queue near the bike. I'm sorry if my English is not perfect, but it's my second language.
English is fine, as long as we don't end up playing Italy. Sorry about that. Right, can I just go on to one other question? There's a question, I think, from Miss Townsend about, well, she talks about drop off and pick up. You're not there when the children are being dropped off, are you? You're only there in the evening, aren't you?
No, sir. I'm there just before 5 to 3 or 3 o'clock.
Okay, so we only need to look at pickup. So where do the parents park to pick up their children? Is it in Brooks Lane or is it in Thames Road?
It is in Thames Road and roads nearby. Most parents walk to school or they use bicycles. They have been encouraged by the school and by, well, we all live in the neighborhood, and because of the traffic situation, most parents walk to school because we are in the catching area of the school.
So they're not parking in Brooks Lane?
No, sir, because it's locked by a gate at 3 o'clock.
All right, now I just wanted to I'm trying to figure out and understand what Miss Townsend has said in her mail to us. I can't see anything else in there that would. No, I can't see anything else. That's all my questions. I'll go back to Medea. Is there anything else that comes up that you wish to ask?
Yeah, just a quick point, Mr. De Tomaso. Do you operate during the winter months as well? I'm only asking because the days are much shorter, so the visibility might be an issue.
No, Councillor, my job is a seasonal job. Even now in summertime, because of the rain, I can't work. I don't work. I don't go down to the school. It would be damaging to the crunchy cones that I use because they would get wet, and my health as well sooner or later would be affected. I trade, if I can, from end of March to end of September. So even paying for a pitch for 6 months, I wouldn't be trading every day and I wouldn't be trading every month. I'm doing it just for peacekeeping with the school.
Okay, thank you.
Have you got any other further questions, Unsa?
Just a question about the gate, which is said to be closed. I think that's only until 4 o'clock. So what happens after 4 p.m?
After 4 p.m, there is just one class that finishes at 4:30, because they do after-school classes or clubs like chess, sewing, or other things. And there are no cars getting inside because the parents that do pick up, and I can testify, there are no cars going through Brooks Road because on the other end there is no exit. You have to drop something off to the school, or then you have to go all the way around because that area is one-way system. There are no deliveries to the school after a certain hour.
Right, are we okay, Nadia? Unsa, you all right?
Yep, thank you.
Okay, right, let's move on then. Just saying, who else do we have to question? There are no other people to ask questions. So we now move on to the summing up. So if you'd like to sum up, Mr. De Tomasa, then if you could make sure it's not new material that you're adding, but if you could just sum up your case in as few words as possible, and then we can move on. Okay?
Okay, thank you. I did mention that I've started as a peddler in 2014. I have supported the school, not just as a parent, but as a trader as well. I've contributed several times through school fairs and other events. I was shocked that such an opposition came about from the school. I've been told that the ice cream is not healthy. Well, the gelato is organic gelato that I serve. No preservatives, no colorant, no animal gelatin. It's authentic artisan gelato. I've been told by parents, and I have witnessed myself, that the school has launched a petition to ban the ice cream bike from outside the school. It was in the newsletter that was given out in May. I didn't rally any parents because I'm very successful. I didn't launch a petition to gather people behind me because I think the queue testifies how popular the ice cream is. I think it was very illegitimate from the school to exercise their authority outside the premises of the school.
Yeah, can we? That's new material you're introducing there, Mr.
I'm sorry.
So if you could just stick to what's already been out in the on the agenda already, if you could stick to that.
Okay, it's something that she mentioned on her email, so I don't think it's a new material. She did say that it's not healthy for their children because the school wants to be recognized as a healthy school to get more grants from the government. That's the reason why she's opposing to my temporary license outside the school.
Okay, thank you very much. Can I now ask our legal advisor if she'd just go through what the options are to us? Kenneth?
Thank you, Chair. So the panel has now heard the submissions made by the applicant. The procedure that would follow now is that the panel will retire and go into the deliberation room to consider the application and the representations that have been made to them both at today's hearing, as well as in terms of the written representations. The panel will have the following options. Firstly, either to grant the application or grant the application in part or in full, subject to standard conditions and or with extra conditions, and finally to refuse the application. During the deliberation, only the panel members will be present, with myself as the legal advisor. I will not take part in the decision, but will be there to advise the panel only. Thank you, Chair. Right,
thank you, Ganesh. So we're now at the stage where the panel will withdraw with the legal advisor. I wouldn't expect us to be longer than about 15 minutes maximum to make the decision. If it does look like it's going to go longer than that, then I will, through our legal advisor, get a message out that we are taking longer than we anticipated. So we won't leave you hanging on the hook forever on it. We will keep you up to date with where we're at. I'd also ask people not to leave the meeting so that you're ready to hear the decision when we return. If you cannot wait, well, may I thank you for your involvement, but I hope you will remain. I would also ask you to turn off your video cameras and microphones while you're waiting for the panel to return. The meeting will still be live and viewable by the public, so please don't talk to other people around because that will be recorded and you may be caught saying something on camera that you wouldn't wish to be public knowledge. It's just a warning that that is live whilst we're out of the, we're not in the room. So I'd ask you to mute your microphone and to turn off the camera whilst we're in that situation. So I now formally ask my fellow members and the legal advisor to lead the meeting for the time being and join me in the withdrawing room. So thank you. Can we go off to the next room? Okay.
Thank you. I got the invite.
I thought I'd help out just in case you had any issues.
That's very kind.
So we're still waiting for Medea. Yeah. Ah, there she is. Right, you're with us. Good. Okay, we all ready? Oh, and Kanitz is here, so we're all here. Right. Okay, Mr. De Tomasa, we have considered your application and we've agreed to approve your application in full and remind you that, well, not remind you, but remind anybody else, there's no appeal. This is a temporary street licence. There'd be no appeal against the licence that's being granted, unlike other licences. And that you will get the full notice of what we have agreed in writing within 5 working days. So you receive that. But so I'm giving you an abbreviated version, effectively, that it's been seen and it has been approved. Okay, Mr. De Tomasa.
Thank you, Councillor.
Got time now to catch the beginning of the Italy match, haven't you?
Just to let you know, they're still 0-0.
Oh, it's kicked off.
On as you were deliberating.
Right, okay. Anyway, I wish you luck with that.
Thank you.
And all my Spanish friends, hope they're not watching me saying that.
Councillor, may I ask a question, please?
Yeah, of course.
After I put in the application, I realized that probably the time that I was requesting, it was very tight. After consulting other members of the family, it was suggested if I was to apply for 2:30 to 5:30. I am too late for that, or is something that I could
yes, that would, you would need to apply again. I think I'm right in saying that. Is
Yes,
Nicola here? Nicola.
Hi there. Yes, that's right. You would need to apply for a brand new license if you wanted to extend the hours.
Yeah.
Even when the renewal time comes?
When the renewal time comes up, that's different, because that would be a new license application.
Yeah.
It's not an automatic renewal. It's a new license application, and you would fill it out with the terms that you wanted, and then that would be reviewed by whomever's on the licensing panel on that particular day, which might be a totally different group of people. We don't know yet. Anyway, I wish you good luck, and you may now depart to see the rest of the Italy-Spain match.
Many thanks. Thank you to everybody. Thank you. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, and sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Medea. Thank you very much for your participation and assistance.
Thank you, Chair.
We can all go home now.
Thank you.
Sooner or later, I'm expecting that these will start to become real meetings and not virtual meetings. So I'm not sure when that's likely to happen. But you know, things after the 19th, if the situation about distancing changes, then it changes the allocation of rooms, which is what has been our restriction so far, is that we haven't had a room that we can use if there's another meeting going on, and there very often is either the cabinet or planning or something else happening that have prior effect on us. So we'll see what happens. There is another one, I think, coming up in 2 weeks' time. I've received notice of today. So there's several still in the offing.
Yeah,
Keep
that's
your
right,
eyes
Chair.
open, because we're always looking for a panel.
We certainly are. I'd just like to say, Chair, the 21st of July is going to be virtual again because it's still too early for us to be confident that the 9th will go ahead. So we're sticking with virtual until we know that we can do, or know as far as we ever can, that we can do physical after what happened in May when we had a physical meeting book and had to cancel it the same morning. An upsurge in Hounslow.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens anyway. But yeah, there's one on the 21st. What was that? I can't remember now.
It's a restaurant variation, Chair.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. And I think there's another variation in the pipeline as well. Or no, an appeal against a licence in the pipeline, I think, from what I was seeing.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, councillors. Thank you, Sonia and Moishin, for your assistance.
Yep. Thank you all.
Have a
night.
good evening.
Thank you,
Good
everybody.
evening. You go and have
Right. Thanks, Nicola.
good evening anyway.
Thanks, Kenny's.
Even if you're not watching Spain and Italy.
Take care.
Right.
everyone.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Kenny's.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Nicola. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, Kenny. So I'll see. We should get that towards the end of the week. Yeah.
That's right. Yes, you will.
Yeah. Okay. So
All
if
right.
you look out, and Medea, for the copy, just to approve that it's it's as we expect it to be. Yeah.
Yes.
Good. Okay. I'm on my way.
Have a good evening. Thank you.